The top pet tier 5 aircraft carrier Buccaneer just keeps getting buffed patch after patch, and today we are gonna take a look at the latest buff that this tower got, which is a lot more DPS on its grape shot. Actually, this is actually the second time that we're taking a look at this tower, and hold on, let me just see if we can. Oh my god, am I I'm messing up the micro. Okay, let's try this round again actually. So I was kind of trying to save up money for the grape shot actually, but I don't think that that's gonna work out. I mean, I have it set on last. Oh my god, this is not gonna work out. Let me buy the faster. Is this gonna be enough? Please tell me this. Okay, it was enough. Not the way that I want to do this, but it's fine. Okay, now this is gonna be the tricky round, it looks like. So let's switch this thing to last, move it back to first, and it's gonna be some sort of a balance in between last and first, I guess, because the range kind of goes into this side as well. And I think if we do beat this round, we're actually gonna have it. And yes, there we go. So the most recent buff that this tower got actually is that the DPS from the grapes, when you combine the 420, the aircraft carrier, this guy, and the 520, the DPS that comes out from the hotshot grapes got increased by a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean by a lot. It went from 2 to 9 on the tier 5. You guys know what that means too? I think it does like at least 2 ticks of DPS, if not 3, but let's just say it does 2 ticks of DPS, right? That's like plus 18 damage that this thing got, which is just, it's insane. It's insane amounts of damage that's gonna help this tower. So let me just pat place like this. This should be in range of the level 3 ability. And actually the question that I have looking at these new changes is this. They say that the DPS gets increased from 2 to 4 on the 420 and from 2 to 9 on the 520. Now my question is this. The main attack along with the small planes can both shoot grapes, and those grapes can set Bloons on fire. So my question is, does the DPS apply to the planes? Does it apply to the main attack, or does it apply to both? And I think the answer is actually both. So that's why I kind of wanted to choose a map in which we can also see the main attack go to town a little bit. And I think the stream bet is the perfect one. So first off, here's what I want to do. I'm going to remove this thing just to kind of give it a little bit of vision. We're going to have a camo balloon, but we don't have any camo detection. So I guess what we can do is just like a ninja at the back, and this ninja is eventually going to become like a Sabo ninja. So I don't think we're wasting money doing this. Oh, and by the way, look at this new Bloon cosmetic, this hat, this sleeping hat that they gave it. I usually don't use stuff like this, but this one is so cool. Look at the small ZZZ, like, is this sleeping? Look at how cool this thing looks like. Wait, let's actually get ready for these camos. So I'm gonna get the Seeking. We have no camo detection, guys. So this ninja is gonna have to take care of everything by itself. And let's just get the caltrops. Actually, I barely got the money for that thing, by the way. So let's get the caltrops, and then the next upgrades are going to have to be in the millipede. So I really hope that this thing holds on by itself. I think it's going to hold. Is it? Yes, caltrops at the back. Yes, so that was round 33. Let's watch 36. So this one is going to have just like a bunch of small balloons. And usually, I'm just generally not worried about this thing, but we don't have an alchemist. And actually getting an alchemist in this map is going to be super tricky. And hold on, are we even dealing with the camos? This ninja seems to be struggling a little bit, right? We're gonna need like one more caltrop and then a bunch of RNG. So we have a caltrop at the back. Is that gonna be? No way. Okay, so let's get the sub. So here's what we can do. I kind of want to have the sub in range of, actually Pat in range of the sub, but then I want to have the sub to the right as possible, because this is gonna be a Bloontorium reactor, and that thing actually does damage, and we don't want that thing happening. So let's decamo these guys. More camo balloons. I hope the decamo is not too late. Actually, I think it's gonna be right on time. And even if we don't decamo everything, I guess the main concern that I have is just Pat Fossil taking way too many pops, because we're still doing the 2 million pops challenge. Okay, so let's just go for a 200 Jungle Jumps Village. We don't exactly need the camo detection immediately because we bought the sub, and it's round 39. We're gonna get the Moab in a second, and I guess this thing can deal with the Moab, but a little bit of an issue is that we don't have an alchemist for it. So I'm not gonna use the Pat ability immediately. I'm gonna let it attack a little bit, and then on its way back I'm gonna use the ability, and I'm just hoping for the best. So let's hope Pat doesn't take away too many pops. And oh my god, he didn't even get it to attack once. Yeah, that's how good this thing is with Pat buffs. Okay, now let's see if our little camo experiment is gonna work, because I still don't have the camo detection bot on the village. I want to get the aircraft carrier first, and this camo sub is at the back. So let's see if this revealing is gonna be too. I don't think it's gonna be late, right? Nope, it's absolutely on time with a little bit of an issue, and that is that Pat is getting some of the pops, which is not ideal. Okay, so ceramic balloons on this one. I'm gonna use the ability just to clean these guys out, and I think when we're done with round 44, maybe around 45 max. No, it's gonna be this round. We're gonna have the the aircraft carrier, and this is where we're gonna start, I guess, seeing the buff just by a little bit, because the DPS got increased from 2 to 4. So it's not a huge increase that you're getting, but keep in mind, you know, this DPS ticks a couple of times, so it's actually a decent increase when you're dealing with the small balloons. I think this tower over the updates is just like going in the right direction, right? Because there's like no serious downsides, and you can deal with almost everything. It's just like the perfect mid-game tower, which actually kind of goes well into the late game as well, right? Because you have the 320 destroyer, so it's a fast attacking tower, you can rely upon it. Is the 420, which shoots missiles actually towards the Moab class balloons, so it deals with them. It deals with the small balloons thanks to the DPS and the increased grave damage, and then the Carrier Flagship, you guys know that thing is just like a powerhouse. So I don't know, I mean, you guys might even start seeing this tower more and more in my games. I think it's just like a really solid tower. So look at this thing, it deals with Moab class balloons, the small little missiles, and actually, you know what, I just remembered this, but when you buy the 50, it gives a buff to all water-based towers, right? It gives a little bit of attack speed, and that thing actually affects Pat Fusty as well. So I hope that we don't get to see the extra attack speed, because we need Pat Fusty not attacking. But yeah, I just thought I would mention that. So we are gonna have the money for the Carrier Flagship. It's around 58. This is like a super cheap one as well, because they kept reducing the price as well, which I don't think I mentioned. But yeah, let's get the Carrier Flagship. And wait a minute, did I mess things up? I didn't. Okay, I just kind of thought, because they removed the lead popping power on this thing, so I was like, how are we popping the camel leads? But the grapes, guys, the grapes can do that. So these are the rounds in which we're going to be able to see this buff, and basically the DPS getting increased from 2 to 9 means that everything below a ceramic is just like bam, one tick and then it's gone. That's what 9 layers of damage does to you. And so I don't know, like I do see a decent amount of these balloons disappearing. So I don't know, let's see how it does versus the ceramics. So we have a bunch. Okay, so wave 1 of the ceramics disappeared so fast that I wasn't even able to say anything about it. So I'm just playing it super slow for the second wave, and this thing is going a little bit slower, but yeah, it's absolutely dealing with them. So the first wave just disappeared, and that's thanks to the grape damage. I mean, it just does way too much damage, guys. Look at this tower go, and I'm not even using Pat's ability. Yeah, this is just dealing with it, no problem. And yeah, so look at this thing go. There are rainbows spawning, but rainbows have less than 10 HP, which is actually really important because the DPS is 9. And so what I'm trying to say is that they evaporate in an instant. And that's why they're just kind of being kept in place. And this is the new buff, and I absolutely love this thing. This is actually really good versus small balloons, and I think it's gonna be really nice versus the super ceramics and the leftovers later on, right? Okay, so here's the plan on how to get to 2 million pops. One of the towers is, well, because we have Pat Fusty, he's gonna buff our main attack, and so I wanted to get an overclock NG. But the thing with the overclock NG is that when you overclock it, the small planes don't get affected by it. It's only the main attack, but that's actually not a problem because I chose this map for a reason, and that is that I wanted to have, like, you know, more track exposure with the main attack as well. Plus we have Pat Fusty to buff it, so that's kind of part of the plan. And then we're gonna go for the usual stuff like the call to arms and just a bunch of sabos. So you guys know how the drill goes. But first off, do we need to overclock this thing? So this is like one of those more interesting rounds, and I think you know what, I'm actually not gonna overclock this one, and I want to see what happens on 76, because that's gonna be like a pure small balloon, pure ceramic round, and we're gonna be able to see the DPS on that round very clearly. So let's just go. I'm not gonna use any abilities, by the way, and let's just see this DPS in action. And I think it's just not even gonna be close, right? Let's just watch the DPS on some balloons if I can. No, it's just a lot of damage. Yeah, it just deals with them, no problem. I actually, this tower is growing on me little by little, like, I'll be honest. Let's watch it on 78. So 78 is gonna have 2 of these huge ceramic waves. Oh, I think the DPS, because it just hits a bunch of balloons at once, it just starts lagging a tiny amount, just like the solver does sometimes, right? But yeah, it just deals with them, no problem. So here's what we need to. We need to do a couple of other things while we're at it. So first off, we're gonna need to get this guy some support, which is, I'm just gonna keep it as a 024. We have the overclock NG, and then I also wanted to buy some Sabo ninjas, and then eventually we need to get the MIB for the DTs. So let's just watch the second wave of ceramics before we go any further. I think it is just gonna evaporate everything. Yeah, it is, especially with the help of the glue, right? Okay, so round 82, and my main concern is what is happening to the small balloons. Not the BFBs, not the Moais, but just the small balloons. How far are these guys getting, and are we dealing with them? And I think that's gonna be the story of this thing, and that's where we're gonna be able to see this buff most clearly. So a bunch of 45 balloons, and I think that we are dealing with them. I mean, it's only round 82, just to be clear, so you know, these more difficult rounds, we are gonna see some difficulty in dealing with them, but I think so far we're doing amazing. 83 is also just gonna have a bunch of like small ceramics. I think I'm gonna be clicking any buttons, by the way, for this round. I just want to see how it goes by itself, and then if we need to, we can use an ability. But yeah, all of those mobs just disappearing, no problem. Yeah, this tower is just, it's just becoming better and better with each update. It's just actually crazy how good it's becoming. Also, 89, a bunch of 45 mobs. It's gonna have BFBs as well, and let's watch what happens on this one. And then when this round ends, it's the DDTs and it's the big boy rounds. So far, this tower has been holding its own really nice, but you guys know that with the 90 star, that's when the real challenge starts, and it seems to be doing just fine. Alright, so let's just watch it versus DDTs. We do have the relentless glue, actually just the mob glue, and let's see how we pop them. I think that the DPS is just helping out a little bit versus DDTs as well, right? Because DDTs are Bloons that don't exactly have that much HP, but they're just really fast and they have lead properties, and that's what makes them annoying. Okay, so huge, oh yeah, look at this thing. You know, I told you guys, as soon as the 90s start rolling in, this is where the problem starts. So I think I'm just gonna use the Sabo just to start things off. I'm just gonna let the main attack do its thing. I think we might need to, yeah, let me just overclock the main tower and let's just get some more damage out of it going. Look at the attack, look at how fast the attack is, by the way. And I'm going to need this DPS to go to town basically, because these super ceramics have like a lot of HP at this point. Okay, let's actually freeze the Bloons right now because I don't want them reaching Pat Fusty. And yes, there we go, we cleaned them up. So the absolute zero is $20,000, and we are doing amazing with the pops, just to be clear. So Pat is at like 200 pops, this ice is at like 35, the ninja is at 166. So we are absolutely not stealing any pops from this thing. It is at 870,000. So let's just be careful. Let me just overclock. I'm just gonna keep using the abilities, by the way. Let's Sabo. I used Pat's ability as well, and look at the main attack go. Are you guys watching the main attack? It's just evaporating these small mobs. I think I'm gonna use the call to arms because there are a lot of ZOMGs in this area. So let me just use it like this. And again, the idea is to not let the Bloons reach Pat Fusty, because if he starts attacking, and he's level 15, so he is attacking, you know, he can hit some Bloons, let me tell you that much. So let's just kind of make sure they don't reach him. And the next purchase is going to be the absolute zero. So we're going to have some DDTs on this one. I'm going to overclock, and I'm going to save the, let's just kind of see if we can, let me just time the ability, ice ability, so that stop DDTs. And bam, there we go, we defeated them. Okay, so I think that we do have the money. No, we're gonna have the money in the second for this thing. So I'm just gonna keep using these abilities. Let's just not allow, let me buy the absolute zero, by the way. I'm gonna use it immediately, by the way. And let's just not allow all these Bloons just to make it to Pat Fusty, and they're going there. Let me use the call to arms. Oh my god, this is getting a little scary. I'm gonna use the Sabo as well. This is gonna be like an ability heavy run, it looks like. Let me just get ready for another Sabo, and I'm just being ready with the absolute zero. So as soon as these ZMGs start popping, they're gonna be releasing a bunch of Bloons. So I'm gonna overclock this thing. We do have Pat's ability. I'm gonna use it, by the way. Let's just use it. Let's hope that all these Bloons get popped before they reach Pat Fusty, and I think that they will, right? It's going well. I don't want to use anything else. You know what? I'm just gonna let these guys go, and we should be fine. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so round 95. Let's Sabo it up. Let's use the overclock, and actually, you know what? I'm gonna buy the Plutonium Reactor, which is gonna give us like a 15% cooldown reduction to Pat's level 3 ability, and I'm gonna use that level 3 ability, so we deal with the DDTs as soon as possible. And look at the main attack go, because that's the main thing that we're buffing with the overclock. Oh, these guys are, let me just freeze them in place, and I think that, oh my god, look at those small Bloons. Yeah, we need to stop the small Bloons. We need another Sabo, and no, Pat is attacking. That wasn't a lot of Bloons actually, so yeah, I think we'll take that. Okay, so round 96, a bunch of 45 mobs, so I think I'm just gonna go at it just right off the get-go. So let's use all of our abilities, and I'm gonna use the absolute zero as well, because this is gonna buy some time for the Sabo. So let's just deal with all these 45 ones at the start, and as soon as the Sabo comes off, I'm gonna use it, and I'm actually gonna buy the second Sabo, because this is gonna give us more uptime on it. And yeah, we dealt with all the 45s. I think the setup is nearly complete. I mean, we are gonna make some money, but I do want to kind of save up some cash for these later rounds in case we need to buy something like an emergency tower or something like that. Overclock this thing, and you know what? I think I'm just gonna dump all the abilities, because the next round is 97. So let's just make sure to Sabo it up. Let's use the ability. And oh my god, this is a mess. This is like even round 96. I can't even imagine what's gonna be happening on 98. Let me freeze, by the way. And this should be fine, right? Please don't reach Pat Fusty. That's all I'm asking. A huge chunk of small Bloons, but no, never mind. We take care of them. Okay, so let's go. This is round 98. I'm gonna try and use all abilities twice. So I'm gonna use everything that we have. I'm gonna actually, do we want to freeze right now? No, I don't think we do. Let's just let these guys attack for a second, and then when the small Bloons make it on the other side, that's when I'm gonna freeze, and then maybe we get like one more round of abilities. So here they come. This is gonna be the big wave, and I want to freeze them in place. Let's just deal with these mobs first. I'm kind of paying attention to these individual Bloons as well. So let's, as soon as this big chunk, yeah, it is in range of our main attack of the Buccaneer, so let's use the Sabo. and then I'm watching the level 3 path ability, and I'm also watching the call to arms. So we do have the level 3, we have the overclock in a second, and you know what, I'm gonna freeze them just to keep them in place for a second, and we're gonna use this combo with the level 3. Yes, let's go. So let's overclock, call to arms, let's use the level 3 path ability, and I'm gonna need this thing to go. Oh, look at how fast it's attacking. Oh my god, it's going super fast. We're gonna have a Sabo in a second as well, and I think that was the main chunk of our damage. Let's use this Sabo, and I think we're gonna have the absolute zero as well, and I really hope that this huge chunk just doesn't reach past Fusty, but you know what, I think that we have this thing. Let me just freeze. Oh, that was a clutch freeze. It's keeping everyone at bay, but we don't have any abilities. We have like $16,000 but no abilities, which is really unfortunate. I mean, what else do you buy at this point? I don't know, like another Sabo? I think 2 is more than enough. Let's use Pat's ability, by the way, and let's actually start thinking about saving some abilities. So let me overclock, and what are we saving? I think, is this gonna be enough? I think you know what, I'm just gonna use the absolute zero, and I'm gonna try and save all these other abilities for 99. So I think that this should be fine. Let me just check the pops. 1.4k. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Pat isn't exactly getting too many pops. Yeah, this Buccaneer is dealing with everything. We have this. We absolutely got this. Let me just check the final Pat pop tally. It's gonna be a 1.7k. Yeah, this is not even close. Okay, so I wanted to save this Sambo, at least one actually for this round. So let me use it. And what else? Are we using anything else? Maybe like the absolute zero, just kind of keep these guys in place. So let's use it now while the main attack is ongoing. And I think, oh, these guys, you know, it actually takes a little bit of a while to get through these guys. And I think that the new DPS is actually a little bit helpful. But are these two, the bag gonna pop? Yes, they are. There we go. And it's only the bad balloon. And so what do we do about this thing? Let's just actually give it a shot without buying any support towers. And then if we need to, we're going to buy something else. So first off, let's overclock. Let's use the level 3 ability. And by the time it makes it around... Okay, so this thing is about to pop. We're going to have the overclock in the level 3, but no call to arms. And I think we do actually have it. So I overclocked. Let me use the level 3 ability, and I'm ready with the Sabo plus the absolute zero. I'm gonna use both of them actually. So as soon as this thing pops, let's freeze, let's use the Sabo, and then one more round of call to arms actually, and we should have this. Pat is going insane, by the way, but he's actually not doing that much damage. I think I was a little bit scared for nothing from Pat getting pops. Let's use the other Sabo as well, and bam, there we go, we get it done. Let's just check the exact number of pops onto this thing. Oh my god, 2,038,000, and actually, you know what the maximum is? Like 2,042,000. So you know what, we could have maybe actually made an attempt for like all pops chimps, which is like getting every single pop with one tower. But you know what, I'm just super happy that we went like this. And yeah, this tower, the Carrier Flagship, just keeps getting buffs every update, and it's kind of starting to grow on me. But that's gonna be it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you on the next one.